Morning. It is hot, so hot. So I've just come inside, just a minute. I thought I'd come in and just do a little video, because we're not away this weekend, unfortunately, of where we've been, what's been happening and where we might be going. I've got a list here just to remind me. Have a look. We started off, we went to the Lady Bower Inn, which is in Derbyshire Peak District. The idea was we went there in last November, stayed at the Lady Bower. You can stay in the car park as long as you're eating or drinking in the pub. You can park for free 24 hours. So that's what we did, and the plan was to walk around the Lady Bower Reservoir and then do the Derwent Dam, where the dam busters practiced their runs during the war. Unfortunately, we did the Lady Bower, and then on the morning where we was going to walk to the Derwent, we were going to park up, drive and park up, leave the car park and park up. Went to strike the van up, of course the battery was flat, so now I'm stuck. We're not plugged in, no electric. I just see the shadow of the sun creeping round, so I'm thinking, right, we'll give it half hour. The solar panels have just put enough in. We'll sit it out, and then we'll wait and give it a try. I was watching the batteries creep up. Thought, right, we'll give it a go. And as you know, just fired, and then dead. And that was my one chance. So now I'm stuck. For members of the ADAC breakdown, which is like the German version of the AA, which covers Europe, which we joined them because they were cheaper than the AA in this country, or the RAC, whichever you choose. But because our first van, our original van, was an older van, about 24 years old, and a lot of these companies won't insure you for going abroad in the older van. But ADAC did. So I went with them and I stayed with them, and they're cheaper. There was about 105 euros it was, about 89 quid, which is over 100 and whatever for the RAC and the AA. So I tried to ring those, but they don't work on a Sunday. So I thought, right, okay, I'll ring the AA in this country, because if you ring ADAC, they send the AA out anyway. Nice lady came on, told her my predicament, and she said, are you a member of the AA? I said, well, no, I'm not, but I'm with ADAC, and apparently you come out when they... She said, yeah, but you'll need to contact them to get them to come out. I thought, well, I can't do that because they don't work on a Sunday. Right, so you can see where this is going. So I thought, all right, well, I'll join the AA. If that's the case, I'll join you, and then we'll be all right. Oh yeah, she wanted 150 quid for the pleasure. I thought, I'd rather not pay that if you don't mind. She said, well, it's an emergency breakdown. I thought, well, no, I'm not going off like that. I'm not doing it. My stubborn streak come to the fore. So then I'm sat there, and Mandy's like, well, what do you do now? What are you going to do now? So I'm thinking, we need a set of jump leads, really. And I thought, I've got a cable in what we used for plugging in. So why not? So I disconnected. This is a Halls on Tour top tip, if you like. Our first one. Disconnect the leisure battery, cut a couple of lengths at a couple of meters long off my plug-in cable, roll the ends together to make one big thing, connect to the van battery and connect to the leisure battery. And I said, right, stand by. This is our one and only chance. Other than that, I'm ringing up and we're stuck here for another day. Lo and behold, off she went. She went off like a good one. Mandy said, don't stop it. We'll get off home. So I bought a new battery, and the reason we went again was so we can do the Derwent water. That's why we went back to the Lady Bower. But unfortunately, I think it's shut now. What's gone on, I don't know. Whether they're looking for new tenants, but it's shut. But it's a lovely place to be. That was in March time. May, we took a week and went down to Paignton and Brixham, a lovely little site, the Gampton touring site, right slap in the middle of Brixham and Paignton, so you can go either way, and that was a really nice stay. And then got Goodrington in between. I don't know if, like you, when it's the early season, we tend to just throw in like a weekend one to something really local. And local to, not low, about an hour away, is the Ferry Meadows. So we, jumping about here, we went to the Ferry Meadows just to do like what we call a system check. Make sure your gas is working, your batteries are all right, everything's okay. Everything heats up as it should before you go on a week or a fortnight. So we did the Ferry Meadows and everything was fine. But when we were down in, again, the Lady Bower, not only did the battery play up, but we found we got problems with the gas. The gas wasn't coming through. When it was coming through, it was coming painfully slow. It would barely put one ring on. So I thought, right, well, that's something else we need to do. We need to have an extra regulator. So what I did when I got back, I thought I'll just try. And I took the old regulator off, swirled it all through with some hot soapy water, and then blew it all through to dry it all off. And top tip number 2, if you like. That, although I've got 2 regulators in the van, just in case, to get us out of trouble, this one that I put back on is still working fine. So that might be something to try, to blow it through. In June, we went to St Ives, and we stayed at a touring site called, well, it's Static Store, it's a proper holiday campsite. Polmanta. I don't know if you've seen the video to that. That was really nice. We took in Land's End for a day and then went to the Monarch Theatre. The Monarch Theatre is a story of one woman who decided she wanted to use her house, which was right on the cliffside. She borrowed or had £100 and built this house on the edge of the cliff. And then got involved with dramatics, or there was someone who wanted to be involved with her, and she built from scratch this Monarch Theatre right on the edge of the cliff. It's an absolutely stunning place, even now to look at and be at. But she did this all pretty much single-handedly, maybe with a bit of help from a local builder, just was a little bit, and a gardener who helped her out. She did all the concreting of the steps, concreting of the posts in. There was even a story of a Spanish shipping container that had run aground off that coast, and all the timber that it was carrying was drifting ashore. And she went down to the beach and she carried these 15-foot, about 4 or 5 of them, she carried these 15-foot timbers from the beach up the steps to use on her theatre. And then the customs men came 2 or 3 days later to inquire about if she'd seen anything or she knew anything about it. And she said to the customs men, well, yeah, I did carry some of the wood up. If you want, I can show you it if you like. But because she was such a small woman, they said, no, it doesn't matter, we'll leave it, thinking that no woman of her side could manage and carry these timbers that far. So they went away. It's incredible, this woman was, what she's done down there. If you're ever that way, go and have a look at the Monarch Theatre. We also had a weekend, I think that was it a spring bank holiday weekend? We went to Scarborough. That was a caravan camping club site, a very nice site. And there's 2 bays. You've got your South Bay, which is all the main shops and your activities and what have you, but then there's also the North Bay. But if you're in a motorhome, you'll struggle to get parked down the South Bay. You might be lucky, but there's not many spaces that is long enough to get a van backed in, unless you're one of these little what do you call it, traveller camper vans. So we found that on the North Bay there are some more attractions up there, but there is a lot of the surfers go up there. They park up there, and the bays are longer, and they can park up there for a day or two. So if I'm not saying you should wild camp, but if you want to just tag on an extra day, because if, like us, sometimes if you're going down to Wales, or you're going North Scotland or wherever, by the time you've got down there, it's too late to book in. And then if you're travelling down the day you're booking in, you're wasting half your day getting there. So what we tend to do, and we've done in Wales in the past, get yourself down there, find these spaces to park just for the night, then you're there for the morning. And then when you're allowed to book in at dinner time, you're already there and you've started, rather than race down there. I mean, that works for us. But a lot of these places are, because of the popularity of the motorhomes, and you know, a lot of these places are starting to clamp down a bit, unfortunately, because they're a victim, especially up in Scotland, with the NC500. They're clamping down, and they're a victim. We got the same when we were there. We've done the NC500 twice, and on this last time we noticed a big difference. The rangers were coming down and moving people on, and on one particular occasion he came to, there was 5 vans parked at Dunnett's Head, which has never been a problem before, because obviously the car park's in use through the day. Then at night, you know, you can get 5 on there easy, and it's never been a problem before. It's sort of accepted that it happens, as long as you're not causing a mess or leaving problems behind. But this time, this ranger came and knocked on all the doors, and he asked everyone to move. He said, I need you to move out of the car park, but you can park outside the gate, and there was a little area of land. You could get 4 or 5 vans on it. He said, you can park on there with pleasure, but you're not allowed to park in the car park. And I thought, well, yeah, I can see what you mean. You're a victim of your own success, because it's so popular and everyone's wanting to do it. And it's not just camper vans, there's people on push bikes, motorbikes, vintage cars, American muscle cars, all sorts of, everyone's doing it. And it is so popular. He said, well, yeah, that is the problem. The NC500 promotes it as a tourist destination, but then it's up to all the individual little villages and towns. They're left to deal with it all. So I could quite see where he was coming from. So, and it's again in Wales, the Snowdonia National Park. You used to be able to get in there, and although there was a sign, there was only a little sign that saying no overnight parking, lots of people did, but it wasn't a problem. But again, now the rangers are coming and they're moving people on. Not that they're doing anything wrong, it's just that the amount, because of the popularity of it, the amount of vans that's going in there. Just getting back to the NC500, this last time, the third time, we went a little bit different. Everyone goes to the West Coast, the North Coast 500, which is beautiful, really, really worth seeing. This time we decided we'd go up the other coast and see what it has to offer, because everyone goes up the left side and around the top. Then when they get to John O'Groats, they think that's it, so that's finished. But we thought we'll see what's there. So we called in, we went to Falkirk on the way up with the Kelpies, very well worth a visit, and you can park overnight there for £5 in the first car park you come to. They'll let you stay in there. And also the Falkirk Wheel, you can stay in there, £15 a night. It's got a shower block there, the restaurant, the toilet, whatever you need. And then on to Braemar, lovely little village, Braemar, where the Scottish Highland Games are held. And then, of course, Balmoral, have a look through there. And again, the run from Balmoral through and the heathers out is absolutely stunning. And you can also see where, in the winter, where the skiing, there's all the cable cars and all the people who go skiing, how they're catered for. So it's not all about the left side. There's still a lot more that it has to offer, rather than the NC500. So take a look. So then moving on, July, we had a weekend on the Norfolk Broad, or the Norfolk Broads Caravan and Motorhome Club site, which was near Ludham Bridge. which brought back a lot of childhood memories for both of me and Mandy. We both had holidays on the Norfolk Broads when we were teenagers. And while we were there, we took in Potter Heigham and Wroxham. So that's what we've done up to now. And I'll try and put some photographs on of where we've been. But coming up in the next month or two, we've got a trip to Sandringham. Again, Sandringham, because it's only an hour and a half away, and it's very easy for a weekend, just if you want a quick getaway. So we're going to Sandringham. That's in the August bank holiday. So looking forward to that one. And then September, I can't remember the date exactly, mid-September I think, we're going down to Wales again. Betsy Coed, and I think that's how you say it, and 2 or 3 days in Betsy Coed, and then 4 days in Llanberis. And we like both of those little towns. Very, very nice places to go. But the run from Betsy Coed through to Llanberis has to be one of the best scenic routes. It's equal to anything in Scotland. It really is a beautiful run up through there. So I'll try and put some pictures of when we were in Betsy Coed last time, because there's quite a big, it's right next to the railway station. There's a railway museum. There's an old carriage that doubles up as a cafe for breakfast and dinners, and then there's a mini railway that runs around as well as the walks through the village, and Swallow Falls, of course. So when we go there, I'll try and get some videos of all that and put that on. So that's what we've been up to and what we're looking forward to. So if you come across any of our videos and you've started watching or liking the odd one, then please consider subscribing, because it does help, and it lets you know when we put another video on. I think there's a button, is it that way? There's a button there, just click on that and it will go straight to the subscribe button, or like or comment, whatever you want to do to give us some feedback of what we're doing wrong, doing well. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.